Live from our Tasmanian headquarters, this is Southern Cross News with Joe Palmer.
Good evening everyone and welcome to Southern Cross News. The Premier has revealed his new look cabinet with some major changes and new portfolios added to the mix. Cabinet newcomer Roger Yensch will have a large task ahead of him in a reshuffle seen as a blatant demotion for Jackie Petrusma.
A new look government with two fresh faces at the cabinet table. A reshuffle for the Premier now holding a slimmer 13 seats in Parliament, down from 15.
A very strong team with a clear plan to take Tasmania to the next level.
Bass MP Sarah Courtenay will be the first female primary industries minister, also taking racing. It's allowing Deputy Premier Jeremy Rockliff to take on new portfolios in defence. A major promotion for Braddon MP Roger Yensch, taking housing and human services in a blatant demotion for Jackie Petrusma.
This is an opportunity for us to refresh, to put new blood, new experiences, new perspectives into important roles.
I'm open to input and evidence and ideas from all quarters, but I've got to get sworn in first.
It's a blow for the Franklin MP, who was hoping to remain in the role despite criticisms of how she handled child protection reforms. A big job for the newcomer, having to deal with a balloon housing crisis.
The Premier seen fit to give that very important portfolio, which includes housing affordability, to a junior minister, and hasn't given it to somebody with the seniority and the ability to provide leadership and solutions.
Peter Gutwin continues his economic-based portfolios, the large task of health remaining with Michael Ferguson. Police, fire and emergency also added to his plate.
That, I think, is the biggest disappointment, that the Health Minister hasn't been shuffled out of that portfolio. The health system is in crisis.
The Premier offloading Attorney General to Elise Archer, who retains Environment. Will Hodgman merging his responsibility of tourism with a new parks portfolio.
We cannot have the same arm of government being responsible for growing an industry and protecting what it's based on. It just doesn't work.
As expected, Breen Hitting is the government's nomination for Speaker, stripping Mark Shelton of the position he held for just 9 days.
He's a trusted, reliable and loyal member of my team, and he has accepted that Breen Hitting has expressed an interest.
The only MP without any responsibility is former Mining Minister and Braddon vote-getter Adam Brooks, who's hamstrung by an email audit into a potential conflict of interest with his business. An audit that's yet to be finalised with no apparent due date. The opposition to reveal its shadow cabinet tomorrow. Jacqueline Robson, Southern Cross News.
Police have confirmed a 61-year-old man from Scottsdale died in yesterday's log truck crash in the state's northeast. The fully laden Kentworth truck ran off Cuckoo Hill Road at Ringarooma and rolled down an embankment around 2 o'clock. The man died at the scene. Investigations into the crash are continuing. The man is lucky to be alive tonight after being involved in a dramatic crash on the Tasman Bridge that caused a container to land on his car. It was ripped from the back of an overheight truck which collided with an overpass.
Emergency crews worked to cut a man from his car as the normally busy Tasman highway turned into a rescue scene this morning. This is the mess left after an overheight truck hit the Glenorchy overpass.
Well, the shipping container had collided with the Glenorchy overpass, and this has caused that shipping container to come off and collide with another vehicle travelling in the right-hand lane beside that vehicle.
The 47-year-old man was extracted from the car but only suffered minor injuries. Police put his survival down to the way the container fell and the fact it was empty.
Very, very lucky. It could have been a catastrophic event had that shipping container fallen differently onto that vehicle. One of the luckiest days of their life. They should go buy a lottery ticket.
Police closed both Hobart-bound lanes, redirecting traffic around the domain as damage to the overpass is assessed and the scene cleaned up. The container had to be dragged out of the way as workers chipped at loose concrete on the overpass. State Growth says initial reports suggest damage to the overpass is superficial. Michael Breen, Southern Cross News.
Singapore-based developer Fragrance Group is putting its controversial Davey Street high-rise on hold and revising the height of its hotel on Collins Street. The change is in response to community feedback, with the Collins Street project reduced by 50 metres, now lower than the new Royal Hobart Hospital. A new development application will be submitted to Council alongside another hotel proposal. The company announcing a new 13-storey hotel and apartment complex for Elizabeth Street. Fragrance Group says it's willing to scale down Davey Street pending the response to the new proposals. 30 kilometres of brand new mountain bike trails are close to opening in the state's booming adventure destination, Derby. $1.5 million is being spent on new projects. Developing a beach in the old tin mining town, also part of the plan.
Hidden in the middle of Derby is the now water-filled Old Bryce's tin mine. Tourists are currently unable to access it, but soon that will all change.
And it's going to be an exciting time, 2018, for Derby.
With the support of the Dorset Council and the state government, World Trail is developing more mountain bike tracks deep inside the Blue Derby forest, giving riders a new challenge and a more scenic route. In the heart of the trail network will be the brand new experience, a 7-kilometre novice track around the old tin mine that's almost complete.
I've never seen anything like it in Australia, and it comes very close to some of the lake trails in Europe.
What we knew from the outset was you have to have trails at cater for everyone, and certainly once you get a mountain bike network established, you need to build trails to cater for the novice, because that broadens your base and increases the visitation.
New recreation areas also part of the plan.
Now that the water's right up towards the top of the ledge of the mine, we're looking at making that a beach. Quite a large, wide beach, so it looks like something from the Gold Coast, where you can actually hire kayaks and stand-up paddleboards. The way we're designing it, there's about 5 spots you can actually stop and get off and have a swim. That's the plan.
The mine site will be linked to Derby's main street by a high, flood-proof suspension bridge.
And we would envisage, once we build a bridge over the river here, to open the new trails in the Bryce's mine hole in about September or October.
All up, 30 kilometres of new tracks are being developed, costing $1.5 million. It's hoped all the new trails will be open by the end of the year. And with the Mountain Bike Enduro World Series to be held in Derby again next year, the destination is expected to keep attracting global attention. Monica Dadson at Southern Cross News.
An alarming spike in the number of people illegally crossing rail tracks is forcing Tasrail and the Tasmania Fire Service to prepare for the worst. Special training for collisions between trains and pedestrians is taking place, with Tasrail saying it's fed up with people flouting the law.
A nightmare unfolds on a local train line.
Okay, stop on red, stop.
A person trapped under a 70-tonne loaded wagon. The rescue airbag groans under the weight. Luckily, they're saving a dummy, but there are fears it's only a matter of time before this scenario plays out for real.
Frankly, I guess we're a little bit fed up that these sorts of exercise will become a reality at some point in time.
Tasrail says the number of people trespassing on Tasmanian rail lines has doubled in the past year, with most cases taking place during school holidays. A big part of today's exercise is making sure the right equipment is available should the worst eventuate.
We just try and come up with systems that work quickly and effectively. The less complication, the better.
Tasrail says education programs aimed at young children is one way the company is tackling the problem.
Maybe it's a generational change that we're looking for here.
A similar exercise is planned for Burnie later this year. Tom Johnson, Southern Cross News.
Tasmanian researchers are helping to rewrite the book on climate change, with a new discovery suggesting rising sea levels could be worse than first thought. Scientists have found a massive Antarctic glacier sits over more water than initially believed, creating a greater risk of melting.
The Totten Glacier in East Antarctica is more than double the size of Victoria, holding a massive amount of ice, which, if melted, would cause a 3-metre sea level rise.
The Totten Glacier is one of the biggest glaciers in all of Antarctica and the world, and it drains a huge catchment area. And so we're very concerned about its potential to rapidly raise sea level rise.
Because of this importance, researchers have been working to build a picture of what's happening below, using hammers and small explosives to generate seismic waves.
So what we do is we try and generate sound waves. They go down, and we hear echoes coming from big discontinuities inside the Earth.
With those echoes, they've found a larger portion of the glacier sits over the sea.
More of the glacier is in contact with ocean than we previously thought, and the consequences of that we don't completely understand at the moment. We're plugging that into computer models.
Researchers believe the ocean contact makes the glacier more vulnerable to warming and melt, causing more icebergs to carve off.
What we think might actually happen is that by thinning the glacier through increased ocean temperatures, it may actually lead to increased calving rate as well.
The next job for researchers to uncover how fast this vital glacier is melting and the global consequences. Michael Breen, Southern Cross News.
With around 80,000 Tasmanians affected by epilepsy, Tas Racing has jumped on board to help raise funds and spread awareness at an inaugural charity race day in Hobart this Sunday.
Of course, we jumped at the chance thinking it's a great event, it's a fun event and a great opportunity for people to talk more about epilepsy.
4-year-old Logan Devine helping to launch the event at the Elwick Racecourse today, with March marking National Epilepsy Awareness Month.
He has significant issues with his epilepsy and his seizures, and at this stage Logan is still working through his medical needs and how to best manage his treatment.
Tickets for the Autumn Race Day on Sunday, March 25th can be pre-purchased through Tas Racing or on the day. Tasmanian farmers are seeing results from a trial to increase red meat production in the state. The 3-year project aims to lift profitability in the sector by 10% by changing the way pastures are managed. Today, 50 producers from around the state saw early progress from the trial on a property at Blessington near Ben Lomond.
Our objective is to always hopefully produce a product that's going to be a good eating experience for people, and at the same time having a very minimal impact on our environment to do that.
Mr Dickinson says 70% of pastures in the Tamar region could be more productive. Tamar NRM says demand for Tasmanian meat is being led by China and other overseas markets. Now let's take a look at the day's business and finance news with thanks to Tasplan, your local super fund. The Australian share market has closed lower following soft leads from overseas markets and a fall in iron ore prices. The ASX 200 index has dropped by 23 points. A short time ago, the Australian dollar was trading at 77 US cents and 106.68 New Zealand cents.
The Tasmanian Tigers are expected to take an unchanged lineup into Friday's Sheffield Shield final in Brisbane as they prepare to take on a side who's got the better of them twice this season. Silk is one of 3 in the current squad, including skipper George Bailey and opener Alex Doolan, who tasted Shield success 5 years ago.
I felt like I was riding on the coattails of everyone else really in that team. So yeah, this time round it feels really well earned, I think, through a lot of hard work.
The achievement made even sweeter after years of poor results, with the side dominating in the back half of the 2018 season.
We've played a lot of cricket together now, albeit through some really tough times, but that's certainly galvanised the group, and we're super excited to be back in this position.
With Matt Renshaw a likely starter for the Bulls despite a recent concussion scare, the Tigers will need to topple the home side for the first time this Shield season.
I'd expect both teams to sort of be pushing for it, but if they were in a position, I guess, where they could defend it, then they may choose to take that path. But certainly for us, there's no choice.
Boasting arguably the best depth in the competition, the Tigers will once again rely on their 5 informed quicks to share the load of wickets, along with added reassurance in the batting lineup, with the bottom order proving itself more than capable of picking up the pieces if need be.
Yeah, just really looking forward to the week and treating it, no differently to how we've treated our 10 games this season so far.
The side fly out tomorrow ahead of the 5-day clash beginning at the Allen Border Field on Friday. The state's best water polo players will get a chance to gauge where they're at on the national scale when the men's and women's side take on the Richmond Tigers in the inaugural Southern Cross League tournament.
It provides our young athletes in particular a pathway, greater opportunities for identification by Australian Water Polo League clubs.
And while participation levels are on the rise, Water Polo Tasmania says it still faces a funding and facility shortfall compared to other sports.
Not one person gets paid. We all do it for the benefit of the young people and the benefit of the sport. It's something that is becoming difficult though.
Tournament begins at the Hobart Aquatic Centre this Sunday.
Good evening. Hobart 16 today, Launceston 18, Burnie 17, Devonport 19. Feeling more like a Tasmanian autumn with 19 in St Helens, Low Head 18, 17 in Smithton, the Islands and Friendly Beaches, Ouse and Strawn 16, Maria Island 15, Grove 14 and Lyoweeney 7. The state's top was 19 in several locations and the minuses have begun with a -1 at Mount Wellington overnight. On the satellite, widespread low-level convective cloud tied in with a cool air mass moving across the state, which was more significant about the west and south. Nationwide, onshore winds are building cloud along the mainland's south coast, where they're expecting plenty of rain. Tropical cyclone Marcus is now offshore, but triggering thunderstorms for the Kimberley coast. The remainder of the country is largely cloud-free. Tomorrow we have a high passing close to the south of Tasmania, with troughs lying over eastern Australia and near the Western Australian coastline. On the water, east to southwesterly winds to 20 knots and 25 knots in the north. Seas about the west and south to 4.5 metres. There's a strong wind warning current for northern coastal waters from Sandy Cape to Flinders Island. Tomorrow, partly cloudy in Hobart and Geeveston 18, Bothwell 15. Launceston and Devonport partly cloudy 19, Cressy 17, Burnie partly cloudy 19, Strawn sunny with 19, Curry showers and 19 as well. St Helens, Swansea and Orford all expecting showers with 17. The UV is medium on 6 statewide. And the 3-day forecast starting Thursday, showers about the north, east and central districts, but fine elsewhere. Friday, more showers about the east and north coast, cloudy elsewhere. And Saturday, let's hope this forecast of statewide showers clears in time for plenty of events happening across Tasmania. Checking the nation tomorrow. Alice Springs, sunny 33, Adelaide, sunny 25, Melbourne, cloudy 23, Sydney, showers 22 and Canberra, cloudy with 18. And currently in Hobart, it's mostly clear with 13 degrees, Launceston 16 and clear, Devonport 16 and mostly clear. And that's it from me. Thanks, Jo.
And that is your news for now. We'll see you throughout the evening. Thanks for your company. Bye-bye.